Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you part 2 to What If Naruto Was a 10,000-year-old vampire god. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. Yes, I need 5 of them, which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. All the links will be down below in the description. And if you want your What If to be done by me, just go ahead and comment over an anime symbol on the latest video and have a chance for your ideas to be done by me, guys. So yeah, without further ado, or wasting more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now, guys. So the last spot we left off, Harrison Saratobi was in a panic. Recently he found a letter. Said letter was from none other than Mito Uzumaki. She had ran away from the village. She had fled. And now he had absolutely no idea where she was. And he was worried. He had to send out his ninjas under disguise, as he couldn't afford for anyone to find out that she was missing. If this news were to ever be made public, it would be catastrophic. And he couldn't allow that, not in the slightest. So with that, Harrison sent out his people to find her immediately. He had no idea how long she's been missing for now. Given the time frame, it was shaky at best. At least, he hoped he could find her before something bad happened. Because the world was not safe. Because of those blood-sucking creatures. Vampires. We then skipped to Mito. Mito was on the run as she was leaving the village. She heard about this place that people treat each other kindly. For her entire life, she's been treated badly. Everyone saw her as this virus, this vermin, and she had absolutely no idea why they saw her that way or why they treated her that way. As far as she could remember, she never did anything bad. However, she read about a place that she could go to, a place where she would be loved and people would see her as a normal girl and not a pariah, not a monster. However, things got rather chaotic as she came across a bandit camp. She saw the girls who were there, and she couldn't just leave them. She had to do something. So she quickly used the kunai that she had for some time now to try and break the lock. However, she was found out. She was found out by one of the men as he came out and threw her down to the ground rather roughly. She was now afraid. As they started to attack her, she was able to escape mostly unscathed, but she was not strong enough or fast enough. She was just a young girl after all, facing off against this fully grown adult. She was screwed. However, the next moment when she blinked, she found herself deep within the forest. She was heavily confused by that. Back at the camp, one by one, all the bandits were just teleporting away. That is what the ladies saw from their point of view. However, someone was taking them away. Mito came rushing back as the place was completely cleared. And there was more than a dozen of them there, but they were now completely gone. It was a confusing thought. One that she did not understand until the girls started to point behind her. And Mito saw the person. She immediately attacked him, but he started to laugh. As she met the individual, he was tall and blonde and really handsome. And their eyes were so similar, the same shade of blue. He was mocking her by laughing, but it was all filled with humor. They worked together and freed the ladies and brought them back to their home. The mayor of the town even gave Mito supplies, because majority of hers had spilled away when she was captured. She was grateful for that. Her new friend did not enter the town with her, and she could stay there because the people here saw her as a hero for saving so much of their people. She even saved the mayor's daughter. However, she wanted to go back and find that individual. There was just something about him. When she arrived, though, he was nowhere to be seen. For a moment there, she thought that he had just went off when he jumped up and scared her, and they got to talk. He then exposed that he was the one that was giving her things when she was younger. The clothing, the money, the food. Things that randomly appear. He said that he knew her mother, but he was gone for a long while and he did not know her father though. She asked him where he has been. He told her that he's a very wanted individual. She asked him why show up now then. He told her that he just couldn't leave her to be by herself, and that is why he's here for her. He also told her what resided inside of her. Now that was a true shocker. She was shocked. She had the 9 tails. However, by simply placing a hand on her shoulder, he made her feel calm. The rage had just vanished away. She was confused by that. It was like she knew him. She felt so happy as she looked up at him with a smile. He told her that he would train her if she decided to accompany him. For the time being, Mito was not one to pass up an opportunity like that, so she agreed as they made their way on the road. Meanwhile that was going on, Orochimaru of the Sannin was currently waiting to speak with someone. It was a woman. She was a vampire. Both of them were working together. While being a vampire made you immortal, there were certain drawbacks. As the younger generations, they could not wield chakra, and a stake to the heart could end your life. Orochimaru despised those drawbacks. So that is why he was working with this woman. She had dark hair, dazzling eyes. Her name was Amara. She wanted for him to gain the powers that he desired as long as he killed someone for her. She wanted him to kill the leader, the one that brought vampirism to the elemental nation. Yes, the leader of them all. She had a feud with him, it seems. Orochimaru did not care about that. But once he gained what he desired, he could be able to kill anyone, and no one would be able to stand in his way, as long as she still gave him her blood. Something that was more pure and better than any of the others. The younger generation, they were just worthless, but this was what he needed. So yes, he took it and he left. Some time passed. Mito had been training with Naruto. She knew that many girls seemed to like him, as there was always girls staring at him and smiling, and he seemed to have no problem flirting back with them. Mito felt safe with him though. He was protecting her and keeping her safe. She was unaware of the conversation that Naruto had with Kurama. It turns out that the fox knew exactly who Naruto was. The fox also made some suggestions about him being related to Mito in some ways, something that he was not telling her. Naruto gave the fox a warning to keep his mouth shut, and despite the mighty power of the 9 tails, he was not going to say a single word about what he knew. That was how much he feared the blonde that stood in front of him. So yeah guys, it's basically let's be left off. You guys can switch across the place, check it out for yourself, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what ifs of the other channels. I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. So without further ado or wasting more time, What do you say we jump right into this? Begin? No, guys. We begin this new episode with Jiraiya of the Sannin, one of the three powerful Sannins. He was currently making his way as he was on top of a boat, heading towards the land of water. There was a reason for that. The moment Hiruzen told him that Mito had fled the village, Jiraiya had put his spy network on high alert as he was intending to find her. However, 4 years passed by and there was absolutely nothing that he could find until a few days ago, one of his spies sent word to him that the description that he gave, he saw the girl. She was traveling with an older gentleman and they were heading towards the land of water. Hearing that, Jiraiya told the man to keep tabs on them. However, something happened because he did not hear back from that spy. Jiraiya had the place searched. He also went to investigate. His spy was nowhere to be found. Whoever that man with Mito was, there might be a chance that he found out that he was being spied on and killed and discarded the body, because his spy did not contact him again. So Jiraiya decided to go there himself as he was currently heading towards the land of water and making his way to see if he could find anything that would lead to him finding the young girl. However, the land of water was not a peaceful place. Well, not everywhere. There was a lot of aggression and rage and a lot of war going on there at the moment. And that was because of the bloodline purge. The city had been hit hard by it, as the village there has been going through a lot, and the ninjas there has been using this to take it out on the people lesser than them. They were using force against people for no actual reason. It was a dog-eat-dog society over there. And it did not look like it was going to stop anytime soon. Because of this bloodline purge, it has said that the Mizukage Yagra has not been seen for over a couple of months now. And he was the one that was running things. Jiraiya was not fully informed. He had no spies over there. Things were getting chaotic. Frequent wars breaking out. Countless deaths. But if this meant finding Mito, he was going over there and nothing would stop him from doing that. So with that, he made his way, as the boat was bringing him there. He just hoped that he could find her before anything happened. The spy was certain that the girl that he saw was her, and there was no doubt about it. He would not inform Hiruzen just yet, because he did not find anything concrete. And whoever this guy was that she was traveling with, Jiraiya did not know who he was. So he had to be incredibly careful to make sure that Mito comes out of this alright. He's been feeling really guilty, extremely so. He's been having dreams where Kushina and Minato come to him, blaming him for everything. He should have been there for her. Despite how he felt, he should have been there. But no, he was off. And now he was feeling so guilty and angry at himself. He had to find her. Time skip. Mito was looking around as they traversed through the mist. Mito was 10 years old now as she made her way. In the past couple of years, a lot has happened. For one, her relationship with Naruto had gotten so much better. She saw him as a father that she never had. He was there for her in her time of need. He was always there. It didn't matter what she desired, he was there to keep her protected. And he made his promise a reality by training her, making sure that she was ready for the outside world. She was so grateful to him. These past years being on the road with him, they were a lot better than being within the village. Not to say that the few people that she had there She didn't miss, but out here she was free. And she actually felt happy. There was no one glaring at her. There was no one despising her without getting to know her first. The world was dangerous, yes, but it was so freeing and wonderful. She was also able to find out more about Naruto. It was a shocking revelation to find out that he was a vampire. Of course, she knew about them. She heard stories that they were bloodthirsty beasts that enjoyed killing and causing chaos. But Naruto was nothing like that. Nothing like that at all. However, she knew that he was a truly special vampire because of what happened around 2 years ago. Flashback. Naruto had ventured out for the night, like he always did. Mito was staying at a rather fine hotel. It was late in the night. However, something popped in her head. Something that Naruto has been helping her with, ninja-wise. And she believed that she knew how to do it now. So she left the hotel, rushing to make her way outside. She knew there was a forest nearby. She would just do it quick and fast. The reason she didn't want to damage a hotel and cause any problems. So she made her way out there as fast as she could. Given how close the forest was, she figured that everything would be alright. And Naruto would be so happy once he returned and see that she got it so quickly. She always liked it when he praised her, saying how far she was coming and how better she was getting. She always liked that. When she finally arrived, she sat down near the tree as she started to practice. And she did it. She couldn't believe it. Something behind her. She heard a sound as she turned. She was confused. She looked around as she heard something once again. Something whipped past her vision, causing her to spin. She had no weapons on her. She started to back up. She gazed towards where the small village was. She started to walk towards it until someone appeared in front of her. Mito fell back right on her butt. Standing there was a man. He had dark, comb back hair, eyes that were in a vampire state, making them blood red. His fangs were showing. There was blood running down his face, his cheek mostly going towards his neck. "What do we have here?" "Another meal for me," he said. "Stay back," said Mito as she was backing away. The man laughed. "I'll call you an appetizer." Mito turned as she ran. She knew about these vampires. She heard about them. She heard that they were blood-sucking monsters who did not hesitate to kill people. So she ran for her life. That is when her feet was pulled away from her. She found herself suspended in mid-air. The vampire used little to no strength to hold her up. They were strong. She punched him right in the face. She of course was gonna defend herself. It didn't matter how scared she was. However, the punch did not affect him that much. Despite the bruise that it caused, he seemed to relish in it. "I love when my praise fight back. It made the hunt more wonderful," he said as he licked his lips. Mito brought both of her hands together. She had to do it. She had to at least try. "Put her down," a voice said. Both Mito and the man turned their gaze. Mito in a state of desperation. However, all of that vanished when she saw Naruto standing there. Mito then felt her whole body trembling. Wait, she was not the one trembling. She looked up as she saw the man. His eyes were fixated with Naruto. His whole body was trembling, making her tremble as well. He released her as she fell. She landed on her hands and quickly jumped away. She then surveyed the situation. The vampire was trembling so much. He then started to mumble. "They say, once we see you, we would know. You're him, aren't you? You're that vampire," he said in a trembling tone. Mito's eyes was wide, and she couldn't believe it. What did he just... As she turned towards Naruto, The look on Naruto's face, it frightened her. His eyes, they were pitch black. Not blue, but black. His fists were clenched. He was angry. The next moment, to her perception, he was just gone. So was the vampire. Mito looked around, wondering where he went, as she couldn't see him anywhere. Suddenly, she turned and he was standing there. She fell over once again. She was backing away. "It's alright," said Naruto. "I'm here." She raised her hand up, telling him to stop. He said that you're that vampire. You're one of them? Those monsters? That feast on people blood? She said in a trembling tone. Naruto sighed. "I never wanted you to find out this way," he said in a sad tone. "Wait, are you only doing this so that you can..." She reached up towards her neck. "No, of course not," said Naruto. The next moment he stood in front of her. Mito could not see his speed. All she saw was him standing there. "I will never, ever hurt you," he said to her. His gaze was now so sincere, and the fear that she felt was slowly washing away. She slowly got to her feet, with his help as he held out his hand. "Enough secrets. Tell me everything," she said. In the flashback, that is when he told her that he was a powerful vampire, a rather old one as well. He would not tell her his direct age, but he told her that he's been around for a long time. And the older generation is vastly, extremely more powerful than the younger generation. So going up against them, the younger generation tend to feel unnatural fear. It was their instinct screaming at them for survival. Well, she was glad to know it. And she believed him, what he said, that he would never harm her. She believed him. She saw the look in his eyes. She knew it, that he would never try to harm her. She trusted him 100%. As for the reason why they were in the land of water, it was pretty simple. They were currently making their way. He said that he knew someone out here that can teach her Kinjutsu. He told her much about her clan. He knew a lot about her clan. And it turns out that the Uzumakis were also masters in Kinjutsu as well. Her mother was Kushina, the red hot habanero. She was a master swordswoman. And he believed that Mito had the genes to adapt just like her mother as well. And he said that he knew the perfect person to teach her. She's not seen him with any weapons, so she doubted that he knew Kinjutsu himself. So that is why he was bringing her to a master swordsman. As she glanced around, the place felt unsafe and uneasy, but walking beside Naruto she felt safe. She had heard a few whispers while they were taking a boat to come over here. "Naruto," she said, glancing up. Naruto looked down towards her. "Yes," he asked. "When we were coming here, I heard a few people talking, saying that there was a civil war going on. Do you know what is going on?" she asked, as she did not know the full details. But there must be a reason why she felt this. The air was thick with tension. The mist was blinding. There was something going on here, something bad. As Naruto started, for years now, Kiri has been locked in a civil war. Their leader, once a very kind, humble man, take it upon himself to eviscerate every bloodline wielder. Mito was confused. Why would he do something like that? I'm not sure. Most say that he is being driven with madness. And the loyalists that were on his side have no choice but to do as he say. So they started to fight back against the bloodline individuals that did not deserve it. However, they would not just lie down and die. So they decided to attack back, which eventually split many people friends. It's been pure chaotic ever since. The faction of bloodline users are still fighting strong to this day. Mito looked down as she felt bad. How could someone go from running a country just to start to kill his own people? This made absolutely no sense to her. Can't we do something about this? As Naruto raised an eyebrow at her. This doesn't involve us, he said. This is a whole nother country. Yes, I know that, she said. But if I'm gonna be something great one day, I'm gonna need to look beyond myself to help other people. Isn't that right, she said, looking up at him. He smiled at her and placed a hand on her head. You're as pure as they come, he said. However, this situation does not involve us, and getting involved will only bring problems. But you told me that you were this super awesome powerful person when we first met. And now that I know that you're a vampire, and you're one of the older ones, you told me that the older ones are incredibly strong. You can do something about this. I might not be strong enough yet, but you can save them. You said to yourself, he went mad and started to kill his own people. They don't deserve this. They don't deserve to suffer and keep on running for their life. There is something that you can do, isn't there? She asked him. He looked at her for a long moment as he was quiet. He released a heavy breath. I usually don't get myself involved with things that don't involve me, he said. But fine, I will do something. Really? She said to him, a look of surprise and happiness over her face. Time skip. Later that night, they had to stop for the night as Mito was getting tired. They would reach by morning. She was currently asleep in the tent that Naruto had put up rather easily as he sat by the fire, as he gazed into it before he closed his eyes. The next moment, Naruto could be seen walking within the mindscape of Mito. As he arrived, standing in front of the cage, there was complete silence. Nothing was said for an extremely long while, until the fox finally spoke. I know what you're doing, he said. Naruto did not respond as the fox continued. You believe that by doing this, showing her that you're a good person, in the future once she finds out everything, that she would not hate you. Kurama laughed. He found it rather funny. What? Are you going to save a bunch of people, making her think that you end a civil war, and that you're a good, decent person, just because she now knows that you're a vampire? It doesn't mean when she finds out the real truth that she's not going to run for the hills. What are you trying to do? Paint a mental image that you're some pure person that care about the safety of others and willing to risk his own life to save people. Don't make me laugh. We both know that you're nothing but a bloodthirsty monster, even worse than me and my own kind, who do what he please and revel in the destruction and despair of others. This goody two-shoes act of yours will not last. Sooner than later, someone, something, or maybe even your own self will release the truth to her. And then she will know exactly what you are. And the moment she does know what you are, she will run away. And she will never look back. Naruto stood there, unaffected by his words. Tell me something, Kurama. Don't say my name. Kurama barked out at him. We are not friends, nor are we close. Do not address me by my name. I apologize, said Naruto. I forgot how important your name was to you and the others. Kurama seemed a bit surprised at Naruto apologizing, but he skipped past it. Do you hate me? Naruto asked. Hate you? I want to rip you apart with my claws, he said. I despise you. Naruto leaned back as he gazed up at the empty darkness. Do you think I'm a really horrible person? And that there's no saving me, Naruto asks. Of course not. You're a monster through and through. And we both know that. So let's not try to pretend that you're anything different. Just because this girl is connected to you, it doesn't mean that you won't do her as you did the others. And I'm sure that they hate you as well. Despise you for what you did to them. Naruto gazed toward the tail beast. You're immortal, to a degree. You should understand more than most people. Everything, said Naruto. Being immortal doesn't change anything. And it definitely does not change you. If you keep on denying that you're a monster, you will eventually break. Naruto started to chuckle. Have I ever told you that I deny myself as a monster? I know what I am through and through. I know what I've done. And I understand every moment of my past. And those actions were not pushed by any state of insanity or any greed. I did it because I liked it. I did what I did because I wanted to do it. There he is, said Kurama. The monster that you are. Yes, I know that I'm a monster, but that doesn't mean that a monster cannot change. Look at you. You went in the opposite direction. When I first met you, you were not like this. But you saw what humanity was capable of. You felt the pain of rejection. You felt the pain of being captured, used like a pawn. On several occasions. Don't you dare speak of that. You wretched bloodsucker, said Kurama. Naruto sighed. I'm sorry I wasn't there for you. I truly am. Despite what I've said in the past, despite the promises that I've break, I know that you don't believe me, but I am sorry. And I know that it's not going to change everything because I can tell what you're feeling. I can feel how much you truly despise me. But that doesn't matter. We do not have to get along. As long as you don't try anything to harm Mito, your existence will be fine. But know this, she's nothing like me. Despite your connection, she's pure, kind, and willing to do whatever it takes to help people in need, despite what she's been through. You might hate everyone as you see it, but trust me, she's not like every human. If I'm not mistaken, your father did give you a prophecy to look out for. Kurama growled. No one connected to you in any way could ever be the person that my father spoke about. So do not get it mistaken in your mind, Kurama said. Well, just watch her, said Naruto. I'm sure you will see what I saw. I'm sure of it, said Naruto. Time skip. Mito and Naruto finally arrive. The house was situated on a tall mountain. There was only a few mountains around the area, so this one looked rather special. As Mito was glancing around, she saw a house. A nicely small house situated by itself. That is when she noticed someone. It was someone her own age. The moment the girl saw them, she instantly reached for the katana that was resting on her hip. A short sword as she pulled it out. She ran forward. Who are you people, she asked, raising her blade, ready to attack if necessary. She had dark blue hair, along with dark blue eyes as well. She seemed to be around 12 or 13, a bit older than Mito but close in age. Naruto glanced beyond her as he spoke. Yamamoto, I see that you've got yourself another pupil. The young girl spun around as she saw. Master, she said, you know these people. You can lower your blade, Ajisai. The man now identified as Yamamoto spoke. He had white hair that was combed down, and spiky at the end. He had dark gray eyes. He was dressed in a silver yukata. The girl known as Ajisai lowered her blade towards her master request. As Naruto stepped forward, Mito glanced in towards the girl. "And who is this?" Yamamoto said. "This is a friend of mine. Her name is Mito Uzumaki. Given the fact that you were always wanting to pass on your teachings to the next generation, I was wondering if you could take her on as a student." Yamamoto's gaze fell on the young girl. Mito felt like he was scrutinizing her with his gaze. He seemed rather old, as she wondered how would he able to teach her. It seems that the breeze could knock him over. Wondering how would I be able to wield my own blade, are you, young one? Mito blinked. "No, I am not reading your mind." "How are you doing that?" she said. "I've got that look on several occasions." You must not let the eyes deceive you. Even with the eyes, reality can be whatever an individual desire it to be. Mito blinked as she heard the voice from behind her. She turned. The man was smiling and standing behind her. He gazed over her once more. "I can tell. Your heart is pure," he said. "Tell me, why do you desire to learn the ways of the blade?" Mito glanced towards Naruto. However, he was serious and not doing anything, really. As she searched deep within herself, "I want to be the best I can be. For my entire life, people has been putting me down. It has been hard," she said. "But I know deep down that I'm meant for more than this. I'm not sure what it is yet, but I'm meant for something far better. And I will achieve it." "But how would you do that and you don't know what it is?" "It doesn't matter. I will, and nothing will stand in my way." Hearing that, Yamamoto smiled as he placed a hand on her head. "Fine then. I will help you along your journey, young one. Let me introduce you to one of my pupils. Her name is Ajisai." Mito walked over. "Nice to meet you. I'm Mito Uzumaki," she said, holding out her hand. Ajisai looked at her hand. As she was silent, her fingers twitching towards her blade, which was rather concerning. She reached out and took the hand though. "It's nice to meet you as well," she said. She then turned and started to walk away. "Well, she doesn't look friendly," said Mito. Time skip. As Naruto was standing on top of Yamamoto's roof, Yamamoto was beside him. Naruto gazed out there, still fast even in her old age. "Well, I was taught by one of the best, which led me to ask the question, why don't you teach her yourself? You know far beyond what I do, and you can achieve far beyond what anyone else can. So why don't you teach her?" Naruto glanced up towards the heavens. "There are certain things I don't want her to know just yet, and that involves showing her much things that I can do. But anyway, thank you for doing me this favor. This is small compared to what you did for me. You helped me get what I deserve, and you taught me everything that my human body could reach and understand." Yamamoto looked towards a man that was like a father to him, despite the huge age difference. Flashback. A young Yamamoto was running for his life, tears streaking down his face. His village was on fire, burning down to the ground. His parents had been slaughtered right in front of him. The last word he heard from his father's lips was to run as fast as he could, and his legs just started to run. He looked behind him as he saw two men. He was young, no older than 10 years old. He could not outrun them. A spear was thrown. It slashed him across the face. Blood splattered on the ground as he collapsed. He looked up with fear in his eyes as the boatmen stood there as they raised their weapons. However, before They could make another move. It was silence. Yamamoto had closed his eyes, and when he reopened them, he saw someone else standing there. Who are you? He said. He knew that this person was different, as a hand was placed in front of him. I'm here to help, young one. In the flashback, Naruto had saved his life, and trained him, and helped him get vengeance to strike down the man that burned his village because of a disagreement between the two mirrors. He had hired a whole armada to erase the village from the face of existence so that he can control the land. Yamamoto had slain the man with his blade, and after that he felt nothing. He did not understand. Despite getting revenge, it was not worth it. But Naruto allowed him to go beyond that, to focus on what was in front of him, and to finally let go of the past. If it wasn't for Naruto, he wouldn't be alive right now. So he would be forever grateful. Yes, he knew what Naruto was, a vampire. And not just any vampire though. Naruto had been able to trust him. Yamamoto still did not understand why he picked him out of everyone else. Why he chose to train him. To this day he never tell him why. But that was just a part of life, a mystery perhaps. Since then, he had met Naruto on several occasions after the both of them parted ways. Yamamoto had went on to find a beautiful, loving wife. She passed not too long ago. It was just how the world was set. She passed away, leaving him with their 2 children. They were fully grown, don't get him wrong. However, they did not live here. They moved. The both of them venturing out to find their happiness, their peace in life. But he resigned himself to stay here. This was where he met his wife. This was a mark in his soul for him that he didn't want to leave. Despite the bloodshed and chaos that was going on, not too far away from here, within the village and part of the cities as well, that young girl over there. His finding of her was similar to what happened with Naruto finding him. However, she was special. She was a bloodline user who was going to be cut down. He couldn't believe that people could be so cruel. Despite what she had, she was just a child. So he intervened. She had begged him to train her. She was an orphan, and she wanted him to train her so that she could defend herself. And he took her on as a student. And his reasons was, he didn't know why. Maybe that was the same way Naruto felt when he took him on as a student. Tell me something, Yamamoto, said Naruto. Yes? Do you hate me? Yamamoto blinked. Why would you say that? You saved my life. If it wasn't for you, no. Let's not go over that again, said Naruto. Yes, I did save your life. However, I also abandoned you and left you to fend for yourself after a while. Don't you hate me for that? Don't you despise me for what I did? Given your excellent memory, I thought you wouldn't forget what you said to me. You told me that it was time that I move on. Time that I go out and find something for myself. Time that I make something of myself. You didn't just abandon me. You gave me what I needed to survive out there. If it wasn't for you, I would have nothing. Even if I had survived that night, I wouldn't have been able to handle or take care of myself. So no, I do not hate or despise you, he said. What's wrong, he asked. You don't know everything about me, Yamamoto, said Naruto. Even with everything I've told you. Well, you told me that you were one of the first vampires to ever walk this earth. Yes, but there's so much more. So much more that no one really knows, said Naruto. However, that doesn't really matter, he said. I'm going to end this civil war that is going on. Yamamoto blinked. Really? He said. Yes, said Naruto. Why the sudden change of heart? Before you told me that you do not like to venture in human matters. I know that you are different than us humans. The emotions that you feel, how you react in certain situations. So why now, he said. I'm not sure, said Naruto. Things are just different now. But I know that you have enough information to give me about what is truly going on down there. Do you not? Well, I have been keeping tabs on what is going on. Meanwhile, down below. So, what is it? Ajisai said. Hey, did I do something to you? Said Mito. I mean, since I got here, you've been a bit short with me. You don't seem to like me for some reason. And I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but I'm a pretty great person. So what did I do? Ajisai took a deep breath as she exhaled. She then turned her gaze towards Mito. Don't think that just because your friend over there know my master, that you will come here and take over. Take over? Mito said confused, as Ajisai looked away. Oh, Mito said. Look, I don't know what you're thinking, but I'm not trying to have your master as my master. To take your spotlight or something like that. It's just, what I said back there was true. Tell me something. Are you an orphan? Ajisai sent her a glare. Given that look, I would say yes. So I know what you're feeling. That man over there, Yamamoto, he saved you, didn't he? He gave you hope. He gave you something that you thought you would never get. And now me come walking in here. You believe that I would take your spot? Well, I'm truly sorry, Mito said. It isn't anything like that. I truly just want to get to learn Kinjutsu. And I would never come in the way of you and your master. I would never try to invade your personal life. Ajisai was now much quieter as she spoke. Are you an orphan as well? She asked. Well, yes, I have been. For a really long time, but things are different now. That man over there, he was able to give me hope that there's something better for me. And he has been showing me that for some time now. So yeah, I do have family. And his name is Naruto Uzumaki, she said, with a smile. She still loved the fact that he was so willing to just take on her last name like it was nothing. It felt like she truly had family, and that made her incredibly happy. Ajisai looked towards her, as her face seemed to soften a lot. It seems like she was worried about Mito coming here and taking her spot. Mito understands more than most. If you were an orphan and you get a family, having someone else popping up would just make you feel like they were trying to replace you. So Mito get it. Mito understood. But that wasn't the case. Not in the slightest. Time skip. Alright. I don't know when I'll be back, but it won't be longer than a couple of weeks, Naruto said, as he stood in front of Mito. I want you to listen to what Yamamoto said, and listen to his teachings well. And I know that you get frustrated sometime when you can't get something, but just give it time. You will get it, he said. I believe in you. Mito smiled here and that. Take care of yourself, okay, she said. And be careful. I'm the one that asked you to do this. I don't want anything happening to you. Naruto placed a hand on her head as he smiled. Don't worry, he said. I'll be just fine. You just promised me that you will listen to Yamamoto and take care of yourself. I will, she said, with a beaming smile, as Naruto smiled back here and that. I'll see you soon, he said. With that, he started to make his way off, as Mito waved as he made his way off. Be careful, she thought. Time skip. Some time later, a beautiful, stunning, auburn-haired woman She was dressed in a blue dress. She had green eyes. She was currently massaging her temple, as she was under a lot of stress. They were running out of supplies. Yagura was trying to take them down by making them starve. He was trying to kill them by making sure they had no medicine, nothing to protect themselves. Yagura has been not showing himself for some time now. He was still within the village parameters. However, he used his forces to surround all of the exit ways where the boats and ships would enter. There was routine shifts between his ninjas because he was trying to take them out by having them starve. And it was working. They could not leave because the forces would simply pile upon them and slaughter her people. This civil war has been going on for so long, and this was the first time that she think that they might lose. And she hated that feeling. They needed help. However, none of the other nations want to get involved. They didn't want to get involved. And that angered her, but there was nothing that she could do about it. If she was in their situation, she knew how bad it would be to get involved. And if they fail, it would just start something that they did not want. She released a breath. It seems like she will have to enter herself. Her forces could not take on Yagura forces with their numbers. While they were strong, Yagura had the numbers. And there was a lot of them. And he was willing to use his envoys and his men as cattle to be killed. And Mei didn't want that. She believed that many of them could be turned around and saved. She didn't want to mindlessly kill her own people. Some of them were only following orders. Some of them had no choice. But some of them enjoyed what they were doing. Those were the ones that she had to get rid of. Mei felt a tingle went down her spine. Her whole body trembled and shuddered in fear. Her vision started to grow dark. She looked around. The tent had turned pitch black. There was no one in sight. Mei was afraid, truly terrified. Her hands and legs were shaking in fear. That is when the most handsome man that she's ever laid eyes on appeared in front of her. She was startled by his sudden appearance and by how handsome he was. "You must be Mei Terumi," he said. "It's a pleasure to meet you." "Who are you?" said Mei, taking a few steps back. She had no idea where she was even going, but she wasn't bumping into anything that meant she was no longer in her office. So where the hell was she? And how was he able to kidnap her? She flared her chakra. "That won't do anything," he said. "I asked you, who are you?" she said. "My name is Naruto, and I'm actually here to help you." "Help me?" "How?" she said. "And why?" "I am tired of the civil war that is plaguing this land. So I'm going to end it," he said. He was gone. Mei felt something. Her whole body shuddered in fright. "Shh," she heard him say into her ear, as his left arm draped around her. "Calm down," he said, his breath tickling her ear. "I know that you're frightened right now and confused, but I can also feel how much stress this whole thing has placed on you. I want you to gather your forces and have them ready and prepared. They will march right in and take over. I will put an end to this, an end to Yagura. Alright?" he whispered. Mei did not believe him, and she did not trust him. However, for some reason, she wanted to do what he said, and she did not know why. "What are you doing to me?" she said. "Nothing. But my words can be very compelling," he said to her. "But you have nothing to fear from me or for your people." As Naruto rested a finger on her chin, "All you have to do is make sure that you take proper control Once. It is over, he said. Otherwise, the whole city might fall into chaos. May blinked as she found herself in her office once again. She looked around, feeling herself. Nothing was on her, no one was touching her. She could hear his words drifting in the ear, echoing in her mind. She quickly got up as she made her way outside. Ayo, she called out, gathering her second in command. Time skip. May-sama, are you sure about this? Ayo said as he stood beside his fearless leader. She had suddenly called a meeting last night to gather their remaining fighting forces to charge the city. May had explained to them that she had help. This was a one-in-a-chance opportunity for them to get it right. The people were desperate because they were starving. They were getting weaker, their medicines were running out. Their food supply was so short, they had to ration their food so much. So if this was a win that they were going to get, they were going to take it. Despite how silly it might sound, because if they don't do something now, they were going to die anyway. And May was at the head of the charge. She would not allow her people to run into senseless violence. She would be there to fight and stand strong. Meanwhile, it was not even fully morning yet. The sun had not fully rise. The guards at the gate, they could see someone approaching. Dressed in all black as he walked, he seemed to bring darkness with him. Darkness trailed behind him. The two ninjas found themselves paralyzed in fear. Utter fear as he got close. The two Chunins and the one joining up above on the scouting station, they could not move. The sheer presence that leaked from Naruto kept them rooted to the ground. As he passed, they dropped down. They tried to catch their breaths, and it seems like nothing was there. As Naruto entered the village, he held both his hands out before he clapped them together. A dark aura started to swell over his hands and spread off his body, leaking like a faucet. He then pushed his hands out and released it, his dark cloak flapping in the wind as he did. It happened almost instantaneously. Every single civilian that resided in the village collapsed, unconscious, as a black mist settled over the entire village of Kiri. Thousands of people collapsing. The ninjas were not affected. A lot of them dropped to their knees. Chunin and a few Jonins. All the Genins though, they were unconscious as well. The civilians had passed out. The remaining ninjas rushed towards where this all came from. Meanwhile, Yagura quickly exited through his window, feeling a great dread set upon his village. Something was wrong. Hundreds of ninjas, thousands as they start to move out, ready their weapons. They had to fight. A lot of the Chunins had fell down as well, unable to move because of the paralyzing fear of whatever just hit their people. Many went to check on the civilians. They were unconscious, not dead. Yagura felt despair, rage, sadness. However, he was able to push it out using his chakra. The civilians, they could not do that. And a few Genins and Chunins were unable to repel it as well. The others were still standing though. Gazing at all of them with his pitch black eyes was Naruto. "I can see you," he said. "All of you, with your tainted souls. Even if this was the end in the rebellion faction side, you will not stop. You hate them as well. Your repulsion of them is staying upon your soul. And for that, you must fall." Despite the fact that his voice was calm, it spread through the entire village. Naruto then disappeared. When he reappeared, 5 bodies dropped without their heads. Several ninjas jump. They flashed Yuan sign connecting their water attack. A massive tsunami came crashing down. However, Naruto held his hand up and turned his hand as the water turned and splashed over to the side, destroying the ground. He then disappeared and reappeared behind two of them. His hand was through their chests. It had burst through their back. He was holding their heart as he ripped it out. He turned and made eye contact with one of them. The ninja turned and swung as he decapitated his own partner, before ending his own life as well. Two of them threw spears towards him of water. It hit right through Naruto. They rushed to take him down until his hands lashed out and grabbed their throats. He was completely fine. He squeezed until the life was out of them as he dropped their bodies. Another one came swinging at him, using pure taijutsu. With one hand, Naruto was able to break both of the guy's hands and snap his neck. He flashed away and appeared behind the Kunoichi as he sank his fangs into her throat. She cried out. The next second she was dead. As her body collapsed, "Rise," said Naruto, as a red wave flushed out of him and connected to all the dead. Everyone watched in shock as their own comrades start to rise up. Those of you who know that you want this to end, stand still. Do not move. His voice captivated those that knew deep down what they truly wanted, and they did not move. The now zombified shinobis rushed past them and started to attack the others. Yagura appeared on the scene. His eyes instantly identified who was the threat. His hook staff appearing. Naruto caught it. The ground under Naruto's feet obliterated. The force that Yagura had brought down completely eviscerated the ground. Yet, Naruto's knees did not bend. "Who are you?" Yagura said, looking into those soulless, cold black eyes. Naruto grinned. The grin on his face was unpleasant. To how dark it was. Soul-wrenching. Even Yagura felt chills went up his spine. "I am him. The one that has finally come to take your life." Yagura quickly jumped back with his hook staff in hand. He looked down toward his hands, wondering why they were shaking so much. Why the hell is he afraid? This guy is attacking his village, trying to destroy his home. Yagura started to pull upon the tail beast's power. It started to cancel out the fear that he was feeling. He pointed his staff towards Naruto. "I'm gonna kill you," he said. He wasn't in the mood for talking as he watched his people be slaughtered around him. The sky started to turn pitch black. Thunder started to bark all over the village. Lightning started to cackle. The aura that leaked from Naruto's body started to get darker and darker. "I'm afraid that was my line," said Naruto. Meanwhile, Mei and her people came to a stop. What the hell? They glanced up towards the heavens as they saw. It just turned dark. Lightning started to rain down upon the village. Not harming it, but just all over. Thunder was so loud they had to cover their ears. They felt a presence. Many amongst the group had to stop. Mei felt the same chilling sensation. "It's him," she said to herself. But guys, to be in subscribe right here. If you want to see next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform. But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.